You know, when you think about cybersecurity, you probably picture some shadowy hacker in a dark room, thousands of miles away. But what if the biggest threat wasn't trying to break in from the outside? What if it was already inside? So let's get into it.
I mean, really think about it. With all the firewalls, all the fancy encryption, all the complex security software that companies use, what's the single greatest threat that can bring it all crashing down?
Yeah, you heard that right. The biggest vulnerability could be the person you grab coffee with every morning. In this explainer, we're going to unpack the complicated and honestly often overlooked world of insider threats.
So let's kick things off by really nailing down what we're talking about when we say there's a danger coming from inside.
Okay, so here's the kicker. An insider threat isn't a stranger breaking down the door. It's someone who's supposed to be there. They already have the keys to the castle, so to speak. They've got legitimate access to company financials, customer lists, you name it.
And this is not some small fringe issue. The World Economic Forum flat out says that human-related risks are a huge contributor to security incidents all over the world. It's a pretty powerful reminder, right? You just can't throw technology at a people problem and expect it to go away.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Not all insider threats are the same. It's not always some movie villain. A lot of the time, it all boils down to one simple thing: intent. Or, well, the lack of it.
First up, and honestly this is the one you see most often, is the negligent employee. This is someone who isn't trying to cause any harm at all. They might just click on a phishing link they shouldn't have, or reuse a weak password, or mess up a setting on a server. It's a genuine accident, but the consequences can be absolutely devastating.
Then you've got the compromised user. Now in this scenario, the employee is actually the victim. Some hacker on the outside has managed to steal their login details, and now that attacker is basically wearing their identity like a costume, walking right through the digital front door.
And finally, we get to the one everyone thinks of first, the classic movie villain, the malicious insider. This is the person who intentionally sets out to do damage, maybe to steal data for money or just to cause chaos. Now, while this is way less common, the amount of damage they can do, it's off the charts.
All right, so why is this such a tough nut to crack? Well, it's because it lives right at that messy intersection of people and technology. You just can't separate the two.
I mean, think about it. You've got employees with way more access to data than they actually need to do their jobs. We call that overprivileged access. Couple that with a lack of regular security training and add in the super common habit of, using the same password for everything, and then throw in the whole remote work situation, and boom. You've basically created the perfect storm for a security nightmare.
And at the end of the day, every single one of those things is an open door. It's an invitation for an attacker, or just a simple human error, to blow up into a major disaster. It really is true. Your security is only as strong as its most vulnerable user.
Okay, so that's the scary part. It sounds like a huge problem, right? But the good news is there's a really clear, structured way to fight back. Let's walk through the game plan.
Look, a solid defense isn't about finding one silver bullet. It's all about layers. You start with identity and access management, or IAM, which basically just means you only give people access to what they absolutely need. No more, no less. Then, you layer on multi-factor authentication. You know that code you get on your phone? That one step makes a stolen password practically useless. Next, you gotta watch what's happening. Use analytics to spot weird stuff, like a login from a different continent at 3 a.m. And of course, continuous training and regular audits to clean up old permissions are absolutely critical.
But even with all those technical controls in place, there's one more piece to the puzzle. And honestly, it might just be the most important one.
Let's be real clear about this. You can't just buy a piece of software and call it a day. It doesn't work like that. The final, and I mean the final, line of defense, it's not a firewall. It's your people.
A really strong security culture is when every single person on the team feels like they're part of the solution. It's about taking ownership, about being vigilant. It means creating a place where anyone can put their hand up and say, hey, this email looks kind of fishy, and not worry about getting in trouble. When security becomes a team sport, your entire organization transforms into an active part of your defense.
So that leaves us with one big question to think about. Do you see your team as your biggest vulnerability, the thing you have to manage, or can you empower them to become your strongest shield, your greatest security asset? The way you answer that, well, that's probably going to define how resilient your entire organization really is.